Hi guys, welcome to another episode, and today I'm here with Anthony, and we're gonna talk about all things body image and especially male body image. Hi Anthony.
Hi.
I'm here in Toronto with you
Yes.
in a studio. We're gonna shoot some things, but before that starts, I wanted to talk to you about your background and this amazing book that you have that I've actually been following you and been a big fan for like what, 10 years now, closer to 10
10
years.
years.
So this is a huge dream come true for me to get to pick your
Sweet.
brain about stuff like this. So, uh, yeah, tell me how like you got into all of this, how that got you started.
Um, how do I begin? It was everything, just a series of things just kind of lined up for this. I myself have always struggled with body image growing up on many different levels. I'm half Italian, half Irish, so I was always too Irish for my Italian side. I was always too Italian for my Irish side, or vice
Vice versa.
versa.
Okay.
I lived in a very Italian neighborhood, so everyone was like short, olive complexion, dark hair, brown eyes, facial hair by grade seven, and I didn't look like that. I was tall, blonde, blue eyes, chubby. So I always kind of felt a little bit off. Like I was always aware of what how I looked because I didn't fit in, you know. So that was always back there. And then I remember always being told I was big boned, which was always a big trigger for me
Yeah.
growing up. And so with this, there was a lot of loss that happened at the same time for me, about 15 years ago or so. And I probably was at the best physical body shape I was at that
Right.
point. But then at that point, I'm like, I want pizza. I want ice cream. I want ice cream on pizza. And so then this happened. I there's so much of the story, but I don't need to. I'm going to give you the Coles notes, or I don't know what the American version of that is. But I was in London. I was photographing some people for content for them with no purpose. And the last gentleman who came in, and he was great, and he did a jump, and I literally had like 10 shots left on my CF card, and it reminded me of something. I asked him to do it again. I asked him to do it nude because it reminded me of an old campaign from Versace. And he did, gave it to him. I was not going to do anything with it
Right.
because my clients on my social media would see something, a gentleman nude, and it wouldn't, fly per se. And he posted it, and it kind of went viral,
Okay.
and it became a meme in China. So all this stuff started happening with this image, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I should do something with this. Like obviously people are drawn to this husky man with a belly
Right.
moving. And so I decided to work on a small little series based on this. And then the first shoot in Toronto, like I think 30 plus men showed up.
Okay.
And I'm thinking I was only needed like 12 men. I put a call out so all these men came in. And I'm thinking husky, heavy set men. But it wasn't that just that. It was a whole slew of different sized men. And then that actually broadened my scope as well because I had friends who were very thin, like genetically very thin. We're always trying to put weight on
Right.
just to feel normal. Normal is a bad word to use, but so it just made sense. Like everyone at that point, it's not just like chubby guys or fat guys that struggle with this.
Right.
It's everyone on some level.
I think with guys, it's a little bit different than with women because we have both ends of the spectrum where I feel like for women, it's mostly just the weight loss, but for guys, the size is important. So
Yes.
very scrawny guys want to put on weight to look
Yeah.
masculine, and then bigger guys want to kind of like slim down or get that. Like we have like both ends of that. So that's a little bit different for body image for guys. So I absolutely get that. That there is a lot of guys that are they feel like they're too small, too scrawny, too something,
Yes.
and they can't gain weight, and that is a struggle for them. So that is a little bit different
And I,
from
and I
the
think being a masculine man is perceived as having somebody
muscle.
with
Yeah.
muscle, right?
I think the relationship to masculinity is a really important angle, even for like my own journey, because I always felt like not masculine enough. I feel like a lot of gay guys, when they come out, have a lot of like internalized homophobia, misogyny, and you're trying to hide it. You're trying to hide that you're other than the rest of the guys, and trying to push down a lot of the like feminine traits. So like for me, a lot of the learning that I had to do, and I think still have to do, kind of, is trying to separate of like what that typical masculinity means to me, and that it should not be tied to just how I look, if that makes sense. But it's still something that I kind of struggle with, because I want that ideal man that like you like kind of look up to, the beard, the muscles, the belly, like there's just this like idealized hyper masculine image of what a man is, especially in like bear communities, where like the bigger the muscles, the bigger the belly, the bigger the beard, like that extra burly. And if you're kind of failing to meet that, like where does that leave you? So that relationship to masculinity, I feel like is a huge part of it for especially gay guys dealing with this, because on one end you're trying to hide your femininity, and you're trying to like overcompensate, so that you're like kind of protecting yourself in a little bit from like your environment, but also trying to meet the standard that is set in the community, especially within like bears and stuff, where like the masculinity is there. So that is really interesting.
But I also feel too that regarding hiding yourself, this like the younger generations are coming out in their teens, right? Some younger. I mean, I came out, I was 33, so the generations before me really had to hide that. And even for myself through my 20s, I found I also hid that as well. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing per se, because it's about survival.
It's survival. And I think for me, when you started this like 15 years ago, I think that's about the time where I came out. I came out when I was 13. So like we are in that like different generation, and I think it's really
See,
sad.
I was gonna not come out until my parents died.
Oh my God.
Like that was the mentality, right?
And so when I was coming out, I think life and like general cultural zeitgeist was in its prime for like it was like that time where even body positivity, even like just being gay kind of felt finally like it was okay and it was safe. Like it was around that time of like Lady Gaga kind of got big, and all like Born This Way, all of this, like it felt like the culture was kind of embracing it. And
on another level though, because it initially started as a fat acceptance movement in the 60s through black women.
Oh, I mean, for sure. I'm just saying, like, from my experience, I think it is interesting that nowadays, like kids nowadays, I feel like are in a worse position than I was. I feel like the pendulum is swinging the other way now again. So I think that what I'm coming to terms with is when I was younger, I thought that things are only going to get better. And now they are kind of like rolling back, protections and stuff. And like the just cultural pendulum is swinging back the other way. So I think stuff like this, the body positivity, anything like gay related, where people are living like out and proud, is now more important than it was like 5 years ago. I don't know like if I'm trying to if I'm like explaining that correctly. It's just I feel like there was a time where it was like, you're gay, no one cares. Like it's
no one cares.
Right?
No one cares.
No one cares. Like you're gay, you're fat, whatever. No one cares. People are starting to embrace it, and now that's not the case anymore.
Yeah,
again.
I can only talk from my experience. I think my generation, nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
My generation onward didn't give a shit, but the pendulum swang so far left that everyday people, I thought were like, initially friends of mine didn't give a shit if you were gay or not, right?
Yeah.
Didn't care. They loved you for who you were. But the pendulum swang so far that it really turned people, I saw it in my straight friends, how it was turning people off. And I'm like, fuck, sorry for swearing. this is good. This is going to be bad because it's going to swing back the other way, right? There's going to be pushback, and I'm like, this is. I feel like it was just going to set us back in the queer community years.
I don't. So
I'm not talking about body positivity.
I understand. Like
yeah,
we
yeah.
were talking about the gay stuff, and I feel like that is a common
Because you went that way with the
belief.
queer
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure. That's like a common thing. Like, did we push it too far, or is it just like culturally we're kind of moving that way? Like, would that happen anyway? I don't know. I think we were on a really good path.
Sorry, don't get me wrong. Not that we pushed it too far. Like, oh, we shouldn't have gone there.
Yeah.
I think it was too far, too fast. And even though we're living human beings and we're gay and we should be celebrated and accepted, I'm not saying any of that. But we're not living in a gay world, right? That's the problem.
I also think that there is there's a huge difference in what the culture is here in the U.S. or like the North America.
North America, yeah.
Versus what it is in Europe, because I feel like we're a little bit like behind culturally. I think this is not like a bad thing. It's just I definitely feel like, especially where I live in Prague in Czech Republic, like it is the diversity is like not there. Like
are you aware of it?
so the more I travel and the more like people I see and the more places I see, like Central Europe specifically, a little bit to the east like of us. So like I don't know, from Prague to Slovakia, Hungary, all of these like ex-communist countries, it is very homogenous. Like everyone's white, no one's kind of like sticking out in a way. Whereas when I come here or like London or like places that are more like multicultural, I can see there's so much more diversity, and it's nice, and that's what makes me think about.
Thank God.
It's great. It's great, and I'm always so like it's so jarring coming back where I don't know if let's say just as an example, if I wear a crop top in Prague as a guy, as like the way that I look, I'm gonna get like really dirty looks. I mean, I did get really dirty looks.
You do get dirty looks.
Yeah, I do. And then anywhere like here, New York, bigger cities, anywhere in North America, London, no one gives a shit. And I think that's really pretty and good.
Which, sorry, if I'm going to say, so whenever I've gone to I haven't gone to many Eastern European countries, but when I have, I'm coming from a state of mind like, yeah, we can get married and like, who cares and blah, 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 blah. And I remember when I got to Poland, a gentleman who used to do my PR, he's like, no, you don't mention that you're there. Don't put it on your social media that you're there. I'm like, well, why? He's like, be careful where you are. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Until I had a little run-in with someone and I was like, whoa. So it's not, I forget how lucky we are here.
So I was going to say, so like with the pendulum swinging, it's really funny because I think here, back home, we haven't even gotten to the part where like you guys were, let's say 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
And the pendulum is still swinging the other way now. So that was my point, is like, did it swing too far? Because gay marriage is still not legal in the Czech Republic.
It's illegal.
It's not.
It's not illegal.
It's not. Wait, it's not legal. So
we
have something called like registered partnership or domestic whatever partnership, but it still doesn't afford the same rights. You can't adopt children. Like it's still classified as like something other.
Right. Right.
Trans rights have been like really on the back burner. Like I think it was only like last year where they rolled back a law where you had to undergo chemical castration to change your gender officially on like your paper.
Okay.
So like you didn't have to go like through like the surgery, like get stuff like I don't know, like if you were going like
top surgery or something.
Anything like you just had to like castrate yourself. Like you had to remove your ovaries or like chemically castrate like your
That was your option?
That you had to do that in order to get it officially changed on your like documents. Okay. And that was barbaric. And that only happened last year. So bringing that back to that pendulum swinging, I thought we were on a good path, and we didn't even get to the point where you guys were, let's say 5-10 years ago, before like the Trump administration. I feel like that was a huge turning point, was like the first Trump win.
The first Trump.
And now we're kind of on this wave where a lot of politicians are taking inspiration from Trump-esque people, and these talking points of like, these kids and they are changing their genders when they're 8 or whatever. Like these talking points are still happening. Whereas and I was like, I'm in Prague, and I was like, you can't even do that here, and it's still a part of the talking points for the politicians trying to roll back the
Got you.
protections for gay people. So I'm just, I don't know. It's really jarring to like growing up with such high hope, and in such a short time, the pendulum's starting to swing the other way, and all of these things are at risk of being taken away. And it's just like really sad. Like, and I think that's why the work that like you do, or that a lot of the people that I follow on social media, is so important to kind of keep that torch going and keep pushing against those standards, because the body control and body conformity is a huge tool for fascism, and that let's call a spade a spade. Like, that's what's coming in the U.S. So
Some say it's already here.
yeah. So talking about body image, talking about body liberation, fat liberation, all of this is, I think, now ever so important, or it's always been important, but it's really important now to keep pushing that conversation, to keep pushing acceptance, to keep pushing against those standards. So I think what you're doing is just amazing. Has been amazing, but is great.
Well, thank you. You really took that into like different areas.
Yeah. No. That's like, I'm all over the place.
Which is great. No, I don't mean that. I mean like regarding like for me, body positivity is about health. And it's about and if it pushed pushed political boundaries, great. That was never my intention. It was about the individual, and growing up, you might see them more now, but growing up, if there was a fat person on television, they were the joker,
The
right?
joke, yeah, the butt of the joke.
But even as a child, I never made the connection, right? It probably wasn't until my 20s where I was like, well, why isn't there more representation, But for me, body positivity is about health. So it's about, for me, mental health, emotional health, physical health, because you could still be big and you can still be healthy. But if you're not healthy, then
Yeah.
you need to fix that too, right? And for me also is, it's about spiritual health. For me, it's about spiritual health as well. So you wanted to say something about
No,
physical?
so the physical, like the health, I think that is the big part of the pushback against body positivity, is like, what about your health? Like,
No, I get it, but
It's,
I get it, but also, I mean, they're not necessarily wrong. I could be body positive. I'm a big guy. I've always been a big guy, and I have to love myself. It's about, just for me, it's about loving yourself.
Right.
Right? Loving the body that you're in, loving your veins, your muscles, like everything to do it with your body. But I'm type 2 diabetes. I
Okay.
used to be 40 pounds heavier. I like being a big guy, but it's gonna kill me. Do you know what I'm saying? For that reason, for specific reasons. Otherwise, be big and be healthy. It's great.
I kind of agree, and I still don't know where I land on
I love
this,
how sometimes we butt heads.
no, because so like I have a background in sports science and physical therapy.
Yeah.
So like I went to school, and all of this was like drilled into me, like being big is the worst thing that you can do to your body,
Which is wrong.
which is wrong. And
Because sometimes genetically, I always use Brad Pitt for some reason. I don't even like Brad Pitt, but Brad Pitt, that's his body. Genetically, that's his body. For me, genetically, my pelvic bone is probably twice the size of
Yeah.
his. So I'm dealing with big body mass. So for me, BMI, I always thought was bullshit. But as long as we could be big and healthy.
yeah, so like for me, what I think,
And I don't mean to lose weight.
yeah,
I have to lose weight a little bit because I need to get my levels. I need to choose the right foods for myself, and I'm
Right.
individually.
right. I don't. So the thing is that I think what needs a little bit of unlearning for a lot of people, especially medical professionals, is that a lot of the health risks that are associated with obesity is more a correlation than a causation. And there are so many factors that come into play,
Yes.
not just genetics, but the stigma, mental health, as you said. Like stress is such a huge part of your everyday health and can trigger so many diseases. So just not getting treatment right away because you're afraid of the doctor, because you've been scolded your entire life for being big. So it's a lot of things that like fat people kind of don't get good health care, and then they get scolded for not getting or not having good
Yes.
health outcomes.
Yes.
And even like weight loss, the studies showed that the correlation between like fixing the, let's say, associated health issues, it doesn't really fix it long term. Like a lot of the things, like yes, the first initial drop improves it for a little bit, but weight loss overall is really hard to sustain. Almost 95% of people,
If genetically you're not overweight.
yeah, losing a significant amount of weight is almost impossible. Let's say 95 to 98% of people who lose more than 50 pounds don't keep it off for longer than 5 years. And we can talk about like why that is, but if it's willpower, if it's whatever else. But the truth of the matter is, it is very hard to maintain. So if weight loss is prescribed as a fix, and we know that that fix is temporary, then why are we still prescribing it? Why are we still telling people it's your moral or personal failure that you can't keep the weight off? And it was only, with the come of like Ozempic and GLP-1s where like this conversation started shifting just a little bit, but it didn't shift in a way that I wanted it to. Like finally we were starting to have these discussions of like, oh, it is actually not just about willpower. Exercising and changing diet is actually not enough. But you need this drug. Like, like we were almost
But you need
this drug. Like you need this drug to do it. Like we were almost there. And then it's just, no, you need this drug and you need to be on it for the rest of your life.
kind of like the same pendulum swinging.
Yes. So I don't know. It's like really frustrating that we were almost there. We were kind of treating people with a little bit more respect.
Yeah.
And now it's just GLP-1s everywhere. It's so jarring because in Europe, ads for like drugs and medicine
weight loss drugs.
is it's banned. But here in the US, it's everywhere. I was just posted on my Instagram, like the first thing I saw when I got off my Uber when I got to Toronto, 2 huge ads for GLP-1s.
Yeah.
So that whole landscape is changing so fast. Like these drugs like took this whole thing by this like as a storm. There's body positive influencers coming out, kind of denouncing body positivity after they got on GLP-1s. So it's just so frustrating.
Wasn't a singer? Didn't she? What's her name?
Lizzo?
Lizzo. Didn't she do that?
I think she did that. I don't think she actually I don't think she was the one that like publicly like renounced body positivity, but I know there was a not that long ago there was a piece in the New Yorker where a former body positivity influencer kind of came out and started trashing the body positivity movement, saying that it almost killed her or whatever. And now that she's on a GLP-1, she sees how wrong she was, and it was just kind of like, okay. And even in like the gay bear community, there was a guy who kind of became popular, got really big, and got a big following for being a bigger guy in fashion, and got these big opportunities. He was in an Abercrombie.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And just like, I don't know, a month ago, he posted like a before and after, saying, oh, before, and then on the before it was like unhappy or body positive before, and now I'm happy after he lost some weight. And it's like, you've built your following on body positivity. You gave hope to a lot of guys that looked up to you, and you opened doors for a lot of guys. And now the moment you could get away from it and you think that's gonna get you more approval or like better jobs or whatever, you're gonna throw everything like that under the bus. It's just meh.
Was that through like Ozempic?
I think so. I think Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. He hasn't lost. To be fair, he hasn't lost that much weight. He
But
did.
I didn't think he was a big guy
He
anyway.
wasn't
He was
big
just a
to.
husky
Yeah,
guy.
he was a husky guy. He wasn't big to begin with, but still, I think he was bigger than the traditional models
Yeah, of course.
in a very acceptable
course.
way, because also there's a big part of this conversation where like being big might be accepted, but only if you're big in the right way.
Right.
Sort of, especially in the gay bear spaces, like you have to fit a certain standard still.
That's a whole other can of
So
worms, though.
it is. I'm just saying that he was big in a way that was still desirable, marketable by the like bigger.
That people could tap into that.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah.
well, he's the fat
He's
model,
the
but he's not fat.
Exactly. So like he built his career on, the backs of people that did the work before him that made it a little bit more acceptable. And then the moment he could get away from it, he did. And I don't know, it's just really frustrating to see people. And he was one of the people that I looked up to when I was talking about like 10 years ago
you were
coming
coming up,
out.
yeah.
Like these, there were so many good opportunities, and it felt like even the internet was such a different place back then.
Huge.
I understand, like you remember
There were safer spaces back then too.
right?
I found. Yeah.
It was, and now like you can't exist anywhere without being attacked.
Yes.
And that wasn't like the fact for me when I was, I don't know, 15, 18, and now these kids have kind of nowhere to go. I feel really sorry for them, because especially in gay spaces, like if it's not safe online because of whatever, and the gay spaces, at least in Europe, mostly are centered about drugs or nightlife, alcohol, sex, stuff like this. Where do you meet the people? Where do you see people that you can look up to? Where do you you know what I mean? Like I think it's just back then it was the internet that I looked up to, and it was a much more positive space, and I could look up to people that were inspiring, and you could actually make connections and build communities. Now, I don't think that's true anymore on a lot of on like the mainstream internet.
Well, now the internet is just full of division, as is
Yeah.
daily life anywhere. You know, divide and conquer. But again, that's a whole other can of worms as well. But when you talk about the gay community, I've said this before in the past, and sometimes I would get pushback from it, but most of the time, a lot of people would agree with me. From the outside, the queer community is very inclusive and outside looking in.
Okay.
Very inclusive, and we support each other. But when you're in the community, I feel like there's a huge hierarchy, and I almost feel like even the bear community has been hijacked, and it's shifted, Again, I want to say this isn't just about queer people.
Right.
This is about men.
Right.
Though the majority of men who came forward to pose were queer. So I have to say that. And I just found like we had a conversation a few weeks ago before you came over, and I said when I first came out, I came out after being in the 90s and going to bars and clubs and dancing. So I tried to look nice, a nice shirt and pants and nice shoes or boots, and then that was my look. And then I would go into the gay village and go into a gay bar, and people would just like look at me up and down like you're too overdressed. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then so I would go with my friends who weren't bears. We'd go to like a martini bar, and I would walk in, and I would still dress the part to be in a martini bar, I guess per se. And then I would get the look like, you don't belong here. You're a bear. You need to be down the street. So I always felt like there was always like, where does anybody fit in, right? And I want to ask you, what do you feel about the term body positivity? Do you feel like that term has been hijacked?
Yes.
To some degree.
I honestly don't really like it anymore, because I feel like it borders on, working with my clients, I have discovered that for a lot of them, it really isn't that important for them how they look. I know that in the gay community, it is the pressure is there a lot, but working with clients, some of them, a lot of them, don't want to work on like falling in love with their body.
Your clients.
My clients, they want to stop thinking about their body. And I think that is a much better way to look at it, because for a lot of people, falling in love with your body is just not going to be possible.
Why not?
I think
It's a muscle that you have to work on every day.
I
And I agree with you. The body positivity word or
uh
phrase or term, I've also it's part of this, but I've kind of leaned more towards body acceptance.
acceptance or body neutrality,
Yeah,
like stuff like this, I feel like is more attainable for a lot of
yeah.
people. And we can use it as a stepping stone. Then once we get to a body neutral point, then we can work on, having positivity towards it, and finding positive attitudes towards it. But I think just a lot of people, for a lot of people, it's a too big of a jump, is I think what I'm trying to say. Like going from
Course,
hating your
of
body
course.
to loving your body
Right.
is just too big of a swing. We're talking about swinging all the time today. uh, it's just too big of a swing. And so what I think I am trying to preach more in my
And
practice
that's fair what you're saying.
is, let's work on you not hating your body,
Mm-hmm.
or you appreciating your body for what it can do, for what it does, etc., not for how it looks, and having stop the war first and then treat the wounds. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really heal if you're still actively fighting. So I think that, come back to your question, like body positivity, I think it's great. And I think that when it started and what it started by was great. But I just think that it still excludes a lot of people. That a lot of people, for many, many reasons, whether they haven't done the work themselves to unpack the internalized fat phobia and the systemic fat phobia and a lot of this, for them, maybe they just don't want to even be part of this movement, because they just don't feel like they will ever get to that point where they're going to love their body.
I think some people jumped on the
Yeah.
bandwagon as well.
Yeah.
Just being big,
Big,
or
yeah.
small.
Yeah.
Like I can hide behind this.
Yeah.
But for me, it's about your thoughts. It's about your words that you use about yourself. They really it's an impact for me, and that's a spiritual aspect for
sure.
me.
Yeah.
So for example, what I do is when I remember to, sometimes I'm on it every day, and sometimes I'm not. But because it's a muscle that you kind of always have to try to work at, right? I lay in bed before getting up, and I'll go through my whole body. I'll scan my body and say, I love my feet, I love my calves, I love my knees, I love my body, I love my veins, I go right through my body, and I'm just telling my body that I love it.
That's great.
I may not feel it 100% of the time, because I'll leave the house, like, oh, I look pretty good. And I'll jet off of my day, and I might see a reflection of myself. I'm like, fuck, why did I wear this today? Do you know what I mean? Because it's natural, but I try to embed it in my body.
And your brain can't really tell between what reality is and what you tell it. So I think this is a great way to kind of hijack your psyche in a way.
Right.
And you become what you repeat, and whatever that is. So if you
I want to believe it, and for the more now than ever, I do.
Yeah, and that's great. And I think that is the biggest advice that I give to people that ask, oh, how do I become more confident? You literally just have to start acting like it. Start acting like the person that you want to be, and eventually your body and your brain is going to catch up.
Yeah.
And I think this is like the same with it. Like, the more you talk to, like, the thoughts that you have, the more you repeat them, they are going to become your reality. So tools like this that you have, it's great, and practicing it is amazing. But for a lot of people, saying I love myself, or I love my body, it just feels too scary. It feels too much. So saying
I mean, I've talked to people who, I know a gentleman, he can't even look at himself in the mirror.
So
I know today he can't look at himself in the mirror. And I'm like, and no judgment from my part, but in my head I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
How could you? What do you mean? Or through this process, more so in the beginning, the odd time I still get a message here and there from men, but people would would message me to thank me for creating a platform where men can see other bodies that look like theirs, or ask if I was going to their city, or share their stories with me.
Yeah, that's great.
right? And initially, I didn't know how to answer that, but then I realized I could just only answer it as a human being with my own experiences, to try to uplift them. But many a time, men thought of like, I don't want to be here anymore, and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot regarding the way you look,
It
right?
is, but
And
it
in the
is that
queer
deep,
community
though.
too, there's that hierarchy. I'm not even talking about thin, well-fit men. I'm even in the bear community. That hierarchy, and so you can walk. I remember walking in the bear community at 33, not feeling like fit in at all. I'm not even talking about my dress, but like I didn't fit in. I didn't look like that. I didn't look like that. Like where am I fitting in again? Like here we go again, right? So it's representation completely matters.
So much. And I think that, so when I started my page, I only really started doing this publicly for the last like 5 months ish.
And I'm gonna say, when we spoke,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so happy that someone like yourself has taken the baton almost,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, and you're pushing forward with it.
And that, like, the response that I've gotten kind of, I think, underlines whatever we're saying here, because it's been so positive. The page grew so fast.
Right. And it's also very fresh too, right?
So that kind of, yeah, that kind of underlines all of these things that people are craving this type of content. I don't want to.
still are. They
I
still
don't
are.
want to market my thing as like content, but they are craving more representation. They
Yes.
are craving a respite from the constant messaging of you have to look or be a certain way to do this. You can actually exercise because you love your body, not because you are trying to change it. You can actually fall in love with movement in general and unlearn that movement and exercise is just a punishment for the way that you look or for the fact that you ate or whatever. And that's how a lot of people think about exercise. And that's how how things are in the fitness industry, is everything is centered around weight loss.
100%.
So
I think I said this to you in our other conversation. I would go whenever I'd get in, and I haven't been in a gym in a while. But whenever I'd go to the gym, I'd get a trainer just for a month, and then get going. And they would see me, and I'm 6'2", and I'm broad, and they'd be like, "Yes, we're gonna make you into this person." And I'm like, "No." I go, "You see that guy who's husky and chubby over there? He wants to look like that." I go, "I am comfortable looking like that." Right?
and how did they
So
react?
my female trainers were like, okay. My male trainers were like, what do you mean?
Yep.
Right? But I think how you're approaching things with your clients, it's in that mindset, right? What do you want to see? What do you want to achieve? Because pushing you to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't for everyone.
Yep. And most of my clients and most of my practice, we don't focus on looks at all. Honestly, there is no goal. There is no goal picture. Yes, there's clients that I train that do have that in mind, and they don't want to work on accepting their body. But I would say that's like 10% of my clients.
Right.
I would say 90% found me or found my content or resonate with me because we focus on rewriting that relationship with exercise altogether. Not striving to weight loss or weight gain or anything like that. It's more about learning to accept your body, learning the fact that exercise and movement is necessary. I don't like to say, like, a lot of people don't like it when I say that, but I think that it is true. I think you need to move, and I think you need to exercise, and I think it needs to become
Your body needs it.
part of your like daily hygiene. Like the way that you brush your teeth or you shower, movement and exercise needs to be a part of that routine. But that does not mean that you need to go to the gym for an hour every other every other day to look a certain way. That can mean you can go for a swim, or you can go for a run, you can go for a long walk.
Right.
You can do yoga, you can do so much just to celebrate your body and giving it what it needs to thrive, making it stronger, making it more capable. For me, training isn't about the looks, it's about longevity. It's about independence, especially later in life. Like skinny talk. We talked about skinny talk in our conversation.
I
It's
looked
huge now.
I looked through that afterwards.
Uh-huh.
It's almost, sorry, it's almost gross.
It is gross. And you know what skinny talk is to me? Skinny talk is like osteoporosis talk. Like women, especially it's marketed towards women a
Right,
lot.
right.
Like there's so many health risks that come with not having muscle mass, that come with not training, that come with under eating, that are much worse than being a little bit overweight or overweight. So having muscle mass, moving your body is still really, really important. But I understand that a lot of people don't want to do it or don't know where to start because those spaces, most of the time, are hijacked by the people like your trainer that want to force you to do something that you basically don't want to do or that treat it as a punishment. And we've seen it everywhere, like the shows like Biggest Loser, like all of this. Like, I feel like a lot of people think that if you're not like,
My understanding, those people were like starving themselves in that show
yeah,
to win.
no, it was crazy. It was crazy. Like they were giving them like 800 calories a day and working them like for 12 hours. And of course they're going to lose weight. Of course they're going to lose weight short term. But what is that doing to them in the long term? What is that
Their
doing?
physical health, yeah.
Did you see there was a documentary that came out last year
I did.
about like following up on like Biggest Loser and what like
I
happened?
never saw it, but
You
yeah, I
didn't see
know.
it? Like it was insane. And just the general like health advice that comes from that era, it's just insane. Like eating 1,200 calories a day is this like set talking point.
Right. Well, I think that's the same mentality as a trainer who's trying to push you to look a certain
Yes.
way, right?
It's just it was for Biggest Loser. It was a TV show. It was about sensationalizing something, but unfortunately, a lot of people took away from that that's what they need to do. And I think that's what's really dangerous is even nowadays with influencers, is if you're pushing a lifestyle, you don't know who's watching. You don't know what 12-year-old is internalizing the stuff that you're talking about. And nowadays with like the manosphere and Andrew Tate's of it all, where again, the push for the body, it's centered around the physique. So a lot of fitness content is like red pill content pipeline, like from fitness to like Trumpism and misogyny and homophobia. Now, more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago online, these young kids that are as young as 13, 14, 15, I see them at the gym and they're doing steroids.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
are parroting these talking points of like, I need to be an alpha male and I'm a high value male or whatever, or like nobody wants a fat dude, like nobody wants to look at a fat dude, like all these things. And I'm like, what have we come to? Like we've done so much work to undo this. Why are you kids like doing this again? Like we've been trying
That's
to.
that's the power of social media.
No, it's awful. So that's why I think like again, trying to provide an alternative to this content is really important, and showing people that they are not alone,
100%.
that just existing happily as a fat person, I think, is a political act. I know you said that you didn't mean to start a political movement or you didn't want it to turn political, but I feel like
Not that I didn't want it to be. For me, it was just about, hey, slow down, appreciate your body. This is the only vehicle we have while we're here on Earth, right? And your body listens. There's the doctor Yasaru Emoto. He did the test on water, like freezing water,
oh yeah,
where you
talk to it.
talk to it like lovingly or like negatively,
Negatively.
and it looks different when it's frozen. So that's what's happening. We're made of water, so we're internalizing all negative thoughts or negative words. So it's like, hey, how about we just like, because I'm not going to love myself 100%. How can you? But it's just like, if I put myself into a space, somewhat of a mental space where it's a lot lighter and a lot lovelier to be in, and you can appreciate your body for what it does, right? And that means you may want to stay the way you are. You may want to lose a little bit of weight, maybe for health reasons. I don't know for anything else. You may want to gain a little bit of weight, whatever it is, whatever journey you're on, but just try to be nicer to yourself.
Just be nicer to yourself, because the change is going to come a lot easier, and it's going to be a lot more sustainable if you're coming at it from love rather than hate.
1000%.
I think you can't hate yourself into a version of yourself that you're going to love. I think you need to love yourself into a person that you're actually going to love.
1000%. And for me, it's. I mean, the majority of it has to do with body, but I mean, body is anything from belly to ears. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've spoken to men. I'm like, "Would you want to upholster me?" You know, I remember this one gentleman. He's like, "No, I'm good. My body. I like my body. My body's good. My great." And I didn't mean to point it out, but he had large ears.
Okay.
Right. And I'm like, "Do you like your ears?" And you just saw him like shrink. And I didn't mean to be mean about him, like, but it's not just about this or love handles or man boobs or whatever it is. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Like I was photographing this girl on Saturday, and she was beautiful. She was beautiful, and I'm like, "You have the best nose." And she's like, "I want a nose job." I'm like, "Please don't get a nose job. Like, your nose is so beautiful." Her body was aesthetically Greek goddess perfect, to be honest, like looking at her.
Okay.
But I looked at her nose, right? I'm like, "Wow, you have a beautiful nose." And she's like, "Well, I hate my nose." So for some reason I went there, but I didn't mean it, because I liked her nose. So people still shrug. It's not just about being fat or underweight.
Yeah.
You know?
I think people embracing what makes them different is really important, especially in days when you mentioned the girl. I feel like nowadays with plastic surgery and fillers, and everyone is starting to look the same. Like
Mountain lions?
what do you mean?
When you work on your face too much, you look like
Oh
you look
yeah,
like a burn
oh my God,
victim.
yeah.
No offense.
That,
I don't know if it sounds judgmental. I don't mean it to be.
yeah, that like filler.
Or a mountain lion.
Yeah, I think it's so funny. There's a term called iPhone face. Do you know what that is?
No.
I think that's really funny that actresses now, when they are in period pieces, it is really hard to make it believable, because they have what is so obviously not in that era. So they liken it to like as if they had an iPhone in the 1700s. They have an iPhone face with, you know, that typical cheek filler, lip filler, nose job.
Funny you say that, because I just started watching Downton Abbey. And I've never seen it before, and I loved it. But there was one of the maids that dresses one of the women, and I'm like, there's an older woman, but like, I swear to God, like, she's had so much shit done to her face. I'm like, how are you cast in this role?
So I think that really is funny to me, that like they are kind of like casting out themselves out of jobs because they probably can't act in period pieces, or it's just gonna look really weird. And with the same treatments for everyone, I think really people are starting to look very similar. I think this affects women more than it affects men.
I think so.
Facial,
with their facial,
we're talking about
face,
like face.
Body-wise, men want to look
Yes, I was gonna say
the same, like an Adonis, big muscle, steroided.
And I think in the bear community, like that's where we are. Like a lot of guys do look very, very similar. Like they have the same build. They kind of are.
I feel like I'm Switzerland, because I will have an opinion, or I'll have thoughts, and I have an opinion. But then I'll sit back and be Switzerland and be like, well, why couldn't that person do that? If that makes them happy, let them do it.
Absolutely. I think what I'm trying to like inspire people to look at why they want the things they want. Like, do you want nose job because you really hate it, or do you just want it to fit in, or were you just told that your nose is not good enough? Like stuff like this, like kind of introspectively unpack of what is actually you and what you like, and what is the society telling you that's not good enough about you. So yes, there is absolutely stuff that you changing your body, you're losing weight, gaining weight. If you're doing it for you, that's absolutely right. But I think it's really hard to kind of discern that, because if the messaging has been your whole life, you need to look X, Y, and Z, and you look very different, you're going to start to internalize, and you're going to want to change it, even though like you may not want it yourself, but you were kind of taught to. So I think it is a very long journey to unpack all of this. but I think it's good to ask questions.
But and spaces like your platform
Yeah.
helps,
Yeah.
right?
Thank you.
I hope this helps.
This was
You know, and I wanted to photograph men similarly so that not one picture was better than the other. Everyone had, right across the board, you had the opportunity with the same space, same lighting, and move and be beautiful. Whether you're
great.
underweight, overweight, muscle, whatever it is, you had the opportunity to look beautiful, right? And so the hope was somebody would see that and see somebody. If I was obese, I mean, I guess I am obese to some people, but if I was somebody bigger than me, for example, didn't feel good about their body, but were confident enough to go out or maybe go to the pool and, you know, maybe at a bear event, whatever it might be, but subconsciously there might be some hesitation
Right.
looking at somebody and seeing how beautiful they look. That was the
Yes.
idea.
Yes, that's
right?
that. I think that it comes back to representation. I think seeing other people live happily and healthily and beautifully and embracing themselves, looking like you, or like seeing
Yeah.
yourself in them, is the most important thing that you can give to people. Is if you have the ability, like, share your journey, show it off, because you don't know who's watching. You don't know whose life you're going to touch if you are just kind in general. I preach kindness a lot, just being kind.
Same.
And that is to yourself and to others. Being kind. Don't talk negatively about yourself, like, especially if you have kids. I know a lot. I have a lot of, like, moms watching. Kids are listening. If you're talking,
moms.
if you're talking about your body negatively, your kids are listening.
I'm gonna hear that.
And they're going to think that there is something wrong with the way that you look.
Or they're gonna think that's something right, but you're saying something
Yes.
negative.
So kindness to yourself, kindness to others, and just in sharing your story, because again, you don't know who's watching. I think is the most important thing that you can do. Is there anything else that you're working on right now that you wanna
Finishing this.
promote, or that you wanna tell people to check out?
Well, not anything yet. I'm fairly discreet. I don't. I know social media is for posting
Right.
and being social. I don't like people knowing where I am or what I'm eating. That's just
Okay.
me. So I usually post when something is needed to be posted about. But I'm working on another series. But this is still ongoing. I'd never expected this to be 10 years worth
Okay.
of work, though 3 years was taken away because of lockdowns.
Okay.
It's just that it just kept snowballing into something, and like more people wanted to be part of this, more people wanted to be part of this. And I was like, initially I was ready to stop at 12 people.
Okay.
Right. So it just kept going. No, I'm working on a children's book for little boys
Okay.
about body positivity and
That's great.
acceptance. Almost finished that. And yeah, my intention was to do 3 books like this. And so I'm working on the second book right now. I mean,
Cool.
as far as photos are concerned, that's done. But like the layout design, yeah, just trying to live life and be happy.
Good. Great.
Yeah, spread that message of sunshine and love.
Exactly. And we are going to work on something together when we wrap this up. So
Yeah.
that's going to come out soon. So stay tuned. And I'm going to leave all your stuff and links to this can probably be purchased, like ordered and stuff.
No, not anymore.
No, not anymore. Well,
There's about
too bad.
Yeah,
You're missing out.
It was sold via Kickstarter. So I have about 12 copies left.
Okay.
And they're technically accounted for. I just can't get rid of them yet.
Okay.
Because I've been having some issues with the printer and shipper.
Okay.
So I just need to hold on to that. But this version of this book won't be available again.
Okay.
I may cut it in half and change the paper quality, because if you can sell it, I kind of upgraded everything, and then sell it maybe through Amazon.
Okay.
But it won't be what this is.
Okay. Well, but you're going to be posting about that on your socials.
Yeah.
That you're going to post
When
about.
that happens.
When that happens.
When that happens, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave that in the links below, and probably cut this out into like TikToks and stuff anyway. So people are going to be seeing your stuff a lot. If you follow me, you're going to see a lot of Anthony's work anyway.
Are you ready to move and jump?
I am ready to move and jump. Yes.
Okay.
All right. It was really lovely talking to you.
Thank you. for having me, my
And
friend.
yeah, stay tuned for the stuff that we have coming out. And thank you for being here. And I'll see you with the next one. All right, bye.